Well, as it's displayed all year, Ukraine's tactical ingenuity is unparalleled. Recent long-range missile strikes have exposed key Russian air defence gaps. Up to 3 airfields have been set ablaze. The attacks are significant because they're launched from Ukraine into Russian territory. But winter's on its way. Ukraine is remaining vigilant. There's obviously all the energy issues as Russia forces prepare for a winter bombardment to drive back Ukrainian forces. While at home, of course, the Russian president is dogged by rumours of ill health and a growing anger against the loss of young sons from Russian mothers. Joining me now, as they do every Wednesday, a wonderful international panel, former Labor MP Michael Danby and Sky News contributor Kosha Garda. Well, welcome to you both.
Evening.
Give us an update on Ukraine because, you know, these cold Eastern European winters are almost upon them now. We didn't think going back to February would be in this position in November. Well, we're in December now. In December, how are they going?
Whenever you think the Ukrainians are, have done something you don't expect, they do something more. They apparently have got their own technology that's developed drones that can hit Russian strategic air bases 400 or 600 miles away from the Ukrainian border. Now, the significance of this is tonight in Kharkiv and Kiev, women, children, old people are sitting in the cold and dark. So Zelensky thinks to himself, I can't let the bombers fly every night and destroy the electricity for my people. I'm going to respond to military targets only. So this is an escalation. This is a just war. And if I was Ukrainian, I'd do it too.
Let's talk about Hunter Biden. We saw those Twitter files released by Elon Musk. Different degrees of reporting on this globally and certainly in the United States. It's clear there was a suppression of the Hunter Biden story prior to the win by the president. And it goes to this broader concern I have. You know, we're governed by rules in television. Print is governed by Press Council rules. Broadly, media proprietors have obligations. These tech giants can turn on and off algorithms. They can stop us finding out things. And as more and more get their primary source material from social media sites, this is a huge concern.
Huge story. I think that at the heart of this is the principle of free speech. As you say, Peta, it's really reaching a fever pitch right now with Twitter sort of being ground zero. And the reason is these big tech companies sort of came out of nowhere. And in the span of 20 years, they went from launch to 6 trillion plus in market cap. That's immense, massive power, more than traditional media ever had. And so while they started out as the displacers of traditional media and the democratization of content and idea flow, they very quickly became the new gatekeepers. And that's exactly what this is leading to. There's another corollary to it too, though, with the role of government and collusion between government actors and big tech, and that sort of coming out in these Twitter files where they're former FBI agents that were hired on into Twitter and serving in those content moderation roles. And I think all of that's spilling out into the open and much more to come.
I was working for the Communications Minister, Richard Alston, back in the 2000-odd period when the internet really hit the mainstream. And there was this whole debate about whether or not we regulate the internet. It was sitting inside the communications portfolio. We regulated all the other elements of communications, Michael. And when Richard Alston said we should treat it like all other media outlets, though, so regulate it with rules, he was called a Luddite, and we then had this sort of free-for-all of the online space, which continues today.
Well, it's absolutely
it's a challenge, isn't it?
It's bodgy. You couldn't put anonymous comments on Facebook and Twitter like you do in newspapers. You have to put your name and address. There's no back address for state trolls, for people who are threatening violence against people. The key thing is, if in America these US-based companies are legislated as publishers, not platforms. They are not platforms. This Twitter business has shown that their claim, that their response is, oh, this is just revenge porn publishing Hunter Biden's material. That's nonsense. The real issue is, was the President of the United States able to use him as a gopher and to scam millions out of Chinese energy companies? That's the real issue. And where's the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN? In the old days, they would go for these big stories, but the social media have to be regulated in a fair way. No one's suggesting they be suppressed, but they're publishers, not platforms.